Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? Because guess what? I missed you. If you couldn't tell by the title of this video is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do. I'm having a little bit of writer's block right now, and I haven't wanted to write anything regarding true crime, so I'm going to take a break from that, and I'm going to be talking about something that I am very passionate about. Today we are going to be talking about coffee, and I'm going to be doing a tier list of the best coffee places that you can go to. Right off the bat, if you don't enjoy drinking coffee, I probably wouldn't recommend this video because that's all I'm going to be talking about. All of the useless information that I know about coffee is going to be coming to the surface today because one of my situationships told me that when I talk about coffee, I am really sexy. So if I can't be an aphrodisiac for you guys, then what else am I going to do? Let's go. I want to start out this video by saying that I'm not just like a quirky millennial trying to talk about how addicted to caffeine I am, but first, coffee. That made me cringe so bad. Because A, I am a Gen Z, I am not a millennial, and B, I love coffee, I love the history of it, I love the science of it, and also, I am being 100% serious when I say that coffee does not affect me anymore. I've been a barista for almost 5 years, and caffeine just doesn't really affect me anymore. I still drink it every day because I like the taste, but I can literally drink a cup of black coffee at 9 and then fall asleep at 9:30. Like, it makes me tired, and I don't know. My tolerance is super high. Like, literally, I used to drink a cup of coffee at 10 and close the cafe that I was working at 10:30 and then go to sleep and then wake up at 7 to open. Like, that was my life for 4 months. It's probably a health concern that coffee doesn't affect me anymore, but hey, at least I don't vape. Healthy lungs, I'm showing them off. Anyway, I love the taste of coffee, and this video is going to be me explaining different types of roasts and where they come from, what to expect when you go to different locations, and what to look for if you're really interested in learning more about coffee. And I'm going to be ranking them on my own personal tier list as well, which I know tier lists are so 2019, but this is my channel, and I make the rules, and we're going to be doing a tier list today. Speaking of rules, I'm going to be ranking them based on me personally and how I like them, and there's going to be a little bit of a controversy, which I'll get into in a minute, and I'm going to be including large coffee chains as well as some places that are only in California. We're going to be establishing kind of a base, and my personal taste and the kind of coffee that I enjoy drinking is an iced latte or a black coffee. I get black coffee when I have time to sit down and enjoy it, but if I'm going to be working for the day and I just need something to just have there, I drink an iced latte. Regular milk, no sugar, just ice, espresso, and milk. And by the way, I want to get it very clear that it is espresso, not espresso. If you say espresso, you're saying it wrong, and I want you to know. And if you have a problem with that, you could take it up with HR. Say hello to HR. Anyway, I either drink an iced latte or a black coffee. I like it simple, and more importantly, I don't like it with sugar. The only sugar coffee that I will drink is a sugar cookie almond milk latte during Christmas time from Starbucks or a pumpkin spice latte. And every once in a while, when I'm really depressed, I will get a peppermint mocha. What are you doing right now? Just get to the point, dude. Now, I'm going to be giving a little bit of a description of the coffee itself, and there's really two different types of blends. There's Arabica and Robusta. There's a lot of detail about the two blends that I'm not really going to be going into it with TurboTax, but there is a difference between them. The majority of coffee shops sell Arabica beans because they're lighter and they also blend better just in general, and they taste less bitter. Robusta beans taste a lot bitter, and they're also a lot more expensive because they're harder to make. Arabica beans have lower caffeine than Robusta beans, which is better for the everyday person, especially Americans, because coffee culture isn't really taken as seriously as it is in Turkey or Italy. And more bean blends are 100% Arabica beans. There are some brands that mix Arabica and Robusta beans together, like Lavazza, which is an Italian roasting company, blending mostly Arabica beans with a slight amount of Robusta beans to give it a stronger flavor without losing the smoothness or the sweetness of the Arabica beans. So if you go to the grocery store and you see a bag of espresso beans or coffee beans and they say 100% Arabica blend, just know that it's not going to be as strong as if you get a bag of Robusta beans, but it will inevitably be more cost effective if you're going to be starting making your own coffee at home. You're probably going to like it better because it's just more common, and if you're really starting to get into coffee culture, it's going to be a great kind of, gateway. It's going to be a great gateway bean to get you into the conversation. And also, before I start ranking, I'm going to be naming the 3 different types of roasts that you'll see on a daily basis. And when you roast a coffee bean, you roast it in a certain environment that adds other flavors to it. And also, it depends on how long you roast it for. For example, blonde espresso is a lighter roast versus dark roast is going to be a darker roast. And there's a lot of different types of roasts, but there's 3 main roasts: French roast, Italian roast, and Colombian roast. Like I said, there's more than that, but these are going to be the most common ones that you see on a daily basis in your local coffee shop. Number 1, French roast. French roast is typically a very, very dark roast. It almost tastes oily when you drink it just black. And you really only ever drink it black or a café au lait, which is steamed milk and hot black coffee together. There isn't really a French espresso roast, and if there is, it's not really good. And I actually had espresso in France when I went to Paris, and I wasn't impressed, which is kind of disappointing because I am French, but whatever. Second is Italian roast. Italian roast is a lot more popular because obviously it is. And in Italy, their drink of choice is espresso. It's always going to be espresso. And you need espresso to make cappuccinos and lattes and Americanos. But if you go to Italy, it's very common, just single or double shot espresso. That's it. And they usually give you an orange rind or some sort of citrus to kind of balance out the flavors in the espresso, adding a little bit of sweetness to the acidity. And I just want to say, if you're the kind of person who adds 5 bags of sugar to 1 single shot of espresso, just drink it. It's not going to kill you. It's like this big. Next is Colombian coffee. Colombian coffee is the lightest roast out of the 2. It's usually roasted with sweeter notes, and the reason why they do this is because they want it to blend better with the milk that you're adding. Colombian coffee, you don't really drink it on its own. You don't really drink black coffee or Americano because it's roasted to be served with milk. Because as opposed to Italian roast or French roast, you are meant to pair that with something sweet like a pastry or food, something sweet to balance out the bitterness. But with Colombian coffee, it's kind of meant to just be had on its own. And also with French roast and Italian roasted beans, it's more common that you add sugar to it or a syrup, and it actually pairs really well with that because it's so bitter. But with Colombian coffee, you don't really need to add anything, and I love her for that. All right, we're going to be moving on to the candidates. I live in the Bay Area, and if you're from like Kansas and you don't know what that means, the Bay Area is within the San Francisco proximity. I live like 45 minutes away from San Francisco, so coffee shops in the Bay Area just means that it's within the Bay and they aren't really anywhere else. I wanted to do more coffee places, but there were some that just weren't in my area. It's kind of like White Castle. Like, there's no White Castle in the West Coast. Like, I can't talk about that. 7 Brew, for example, the nearest one to me is in Utah, and I'm confused because why do they serve coffee in Utah if everyone's Mormon? Anyway, I added some global places and some places that are around the United States, and I also added some California only, just to give my personal opinion about them. So for the candidates, we have Starbucks, Peet's Coffee, Dunkin, Dutch Bros, Eataly, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, Blue Bottle, McDonald's, Fil A, Philz, Voyager, and Verve. Those are going to be the candidates, and I'm going to kind of explain to you the way that my tier list works. Okay, so for the top category is regular customer. This is the best place that you can go to for real coffee, the kind of coffee that you wake up every day and you go here. That's sort of the vibe that I'm going for. These are the places that I would go every day if I had the cash to burn. Tier 2 is Cheers, which is a reference to the TV show Cheers because everybody in that show worked at the restaurant Cheers. These are the places that you take your friends and you guys go there for group study sessions, just for fun, after events, that sort of thing. It's not necessarily the place that you would choose, but that's your place and you guys have to go. Tier 3 is date locations. These are coffee shops that you only go to when you're on a date. I can't really explain it, but when you're done dating that person or the date didn't go well, you don't really want to go back and you're okay with that. And the reason why I put this lower than Cheers is because you don't want to go somewhere with your friends that you went to on a shitty date. You're just going to be thinking about the shitty date the whole time. And if the date didn't go well, you don't want to go back and you're okay with that. Also, rule of thumb, never go on a first date at your favorite coffee shop. Just trust me on that. Tier 4 is better than matcha. I don't want to offend any matcha drinkers out there, but like I said at the beginning of this video, if you don't like coffee, then you shouldn't watch this video. These are the kind of places where it's not your favorite place, but it's better than drinking matcha. Tier 5 is I would rather have matcha. These are the places that you don't like going to and you wouldn't go to again. If your coffee is so bad that a coffee drinker would rather drink matcha, that's a wooden stake through the heart, my friend. Alright, so I'm going to be starting off with kind of the niche places because we all know Starbucks, we all know Dunkin. I'll get to those in a minute. Okay, starting off with Eataly. Eataly is a major Italian brand and they have 10 locations across the United States, including 2 in California, I believe 4 in New York City. I've been to 3 of them, but I think they're opening up a new one. 1 in Chicago, 1 in Dallas, 1 in Las Vegas, and 1 in Boston. Eataly is basically like IKEA, but for Italians. It's super cool. They have restaurants, they have grocery stores, they have wine floors, and they have cafes. They use Lavazza beans, as I had mentioned before, and their coffee is really good. If you pair it with one of their croissants or one of their bomboloni, it's delicious. Overall, really great coffee and food combination, which is really rare. Usually when a coffee place serves really good food, their coffee isn't really that good, but this is one of the few exceptions. If you have an Eataly in your area, I highly recommend trying it out. Eataly is definitely going in the regular customer category for me. Next is Blue Bottle. Now this is mostly a Bay Area location, but even there's not really that many locations in the Bay. But actually I found out there's quite a few Blue Bottles in different states and even different countries. This place is a minimalist's dream. It is so simple and clean. They actually do pour over coffee, which I can imagine is a nightmare, but I can also imagine it probably tastes really good. I do get a little bit confused with the menu. They have like Louisiana Purchase, like that's probably one of the drinks. Like, what are you trying to say here, buddy? I do get a little confused about the menu. I usually just get an iced latte with whole milk or a drip coffee. I am going to put it in the date locations category because it is the perfect date location because it is too small. Like, there's not a lot of tables inside or outside that you can really have a study session with your friends. And also, I have brought many men to dates at Blue Bottle and the vibe is perfect every time and the coffee is also really good. So if you're a guy that I went on a mock date with at Blue Bottle, just know that you're not the only one. But as far as the coffee is concerned, I don't go here very often. There's not a place close enough to me to where I can go every day. I really only ever get Blue Bottle when I'm in the area, but it's still pretty good and I really do like their coffee. Alright, next is Starbucks. Now I know this is probably going to make a couple people mad, but I actually really like Starbucks. I'm also white, so it's kind of in my DNA. I've been drinking Starbucks since I was 14, and when I was 19, I started drinking iced flat whites. That's what this is right now. Iced flat white is my drink of choice, and it's probably not good because it has the most amount of espresso to iced coffee ratio. It has been my non-prescription antidepressant since I broke up with my last boyfriend in 2021. And by the way, I started drinking iced flat whites because Rhett and Link said that it was the best iced drink at Starbucks. I know a lot of people don't like Starbucks or support them, and that's fine, but they will always have a special place in my Robusta heart because I grew up with them, and I think that the CEO's decision of cutting down the menu was a good one. Writing on the cups, I don't think so. If I want to write on a customer's cup, I want to do it because I want to do it. You know, I don't want to do it because you're telling me to. But anyway, they made me a regular customer because of the iced flat white and their drip coffee. Iced flat white is probably my favorite drink of all time because she and I have been through hell and back together, and there's been times where I've had no one to support me in life other than the iced flat white, and she's been there for me every time. And also, they're like Bank of America. They're everywhere. Next up, Dutch Bros. Okay, we're going to be going down a little bit. Dutch Bros is a coffee chain that originates in the West Coast. There's locations in California, Oregon, Idaho, and Nevada. There's not very many where I live. The nearest one to me is about an hour away. But I do go to Dutch Bros every month because they have a monthly sticker drop on the first Wednesday of every month. And that's pretty much the only reason I go. I go when I'm in Las Vegas or Idaho visiting my family. But I do not like their coffee. Their coffee is so fucking sweet. It gives me a headache every time I drink it. I had a blended Golden Eagle one time and then I kissed my then boyfriend at the time, and now every time I taste a blended Golden Eagle, I think of him and it makes me want to vomit. And on the very off chance that I do get a iced latte with no sugar, just regular milk, it makes my stomach hurt. It really doesn't make me feel well. Now, if you like sugary coffee, I highly recommend it. It's super chill. The staff has all the aura points that they need to make a successful cup of coffee. But for me, I don't like their coffee, and I would rather have matcha than Dutch Bros. So that's where she is going. Next up, Peet's Coffee. Peet's is a Bay Area coffee chain that started in Berkeley, California, and there aren't very many outside of the Bay Area. There's like 2 in LA and I think 1 in New York or something. This is my favorite place to get a cup of coffee. I have an emotional connection with the iced flat white, but Peet's and we work past that. I love their drip coffee. I love their espresso. It's so strong. It's so good. It's made with Arabica beans, and they roast usually darker, so the bitters and the beans really come out. Also, I love the Peet's aesthetic. It's like every time you go into a Peet's, you go into another country. It's so cool. Very dark academia vibes. It's totally my thing. I'm in love. If I had my own house, it would be like a Peet's coffee every time you walked in. Like I said, I'm from the Bay. I love Peet's. If you've never been to a Peet's coffee before, you are totally missing out. I'm putting it in regular customer because she is my bitch and I love her. Next, coffee bean and tea leaf. First off, there's too many words. This is more of a SoCal thing. There aren't very many in the Bay Area. I think the nearest one to me is in like Paso, and that's like 3 hours away. I had them once and I remember not being very impressed. I had an iced latte and it was very weak. It tasted like I was just drinking milk. And I think that's because they're better at making tea than they are at coffee. And also my taste is very much strong. Like if it's not going to make me pucker, I'm not going to drink it. They have a bunch of different teas. They have horchata, but this isn't what the video is about. If you like tea, I highly recommend you going, but at least it's better than matcha. By the way, what do y'all call it down there? Do you say coffee bean? Do you say coffee bean and tea leaf? Let me know, because it's way too long to say casually. Oh hey, where you going? Coffee bean and tea leaf? I don't know. Also, the one time that I had coffee bean and tea leaf, I was on Hollywood Boulevard and there was a guy dressed up as Alan from The Hangover with a real baby in a carrier asking all of the tourists where Doug was. That is my best depiction of what it's like to visit Los Angeles. That is exactly what you're going to expect if you go and visit Los Angeles. It's very spot on. All right, Dunkin. Dunkin, formerly known as Dunkin' Donuts, is more of a fast food chain than it is a coffee place. They're still included in the coffee chain category because this is better for you if you're on a budget or if you're just an East Coaster. I don't mind Dunkin'. It's kind of my second cup of coffee of the day. Like I've already had my iced flat white and I want another cup of coffee, but I can't afford to get another Starbucks drink, so I'll go to Dunkin'. Back when I had money and could afford to get more than one drink in a day. There's one by my house. I'll go every once in a while. But the thing that I don't particularly love about their coffee is because, and you won't notice this unless you're the worst like I am and you can taste very specific notes in espresso, but it's the fact that they don't really clean their espresso machines very well. And they aren't really espresso machines with portafilters. They're push button machines, which is okay. Starbucks does that too, but I can tell by Starbucks' machines that they're a little bit higher quality and they're cleaned more frequently. And with coffee places that have easy machines, is what I call them, you can kind of taste when they don't clean their espresso machines because it tastes gritty and it literally tastes dirty. No lie, 2 of the worst cups of coffee that I have ever had in my life were in New York City and San Diego. And I could just taste the dirtiness that has come from built up espresso grounds and it's disgusting. You can taste this in Dunkin' sometimes, but I do like going. I like Dunkin's pumpkin spice lattes more than Starbucks's. So for accessibility, I'm going to be putting it's better than matcha. I've actually had their matcha. It's not terrible. I just don't love matcha. It's not the worst, and they also get points for having a drive-thru. Next up is Voyager. Voyager is another coffee shop in the Bay Area. It's mostly in the Cupertino area. I went there once because somebody that I used to work with works there. We aren't really friends anymore, so I don't go because I'm scared of running into him. I remember they had good lemonade, but that isn't really part of the test. Yeah, I mean, I just don't really remember getting blown away by their coffee. I had a cortado when I went, but I don't really love drinks with hot milk because there's that time period where the milk goes from really, really hot to lukewarm, and it's just gross to me. I don't like it. But I do remember the coffee tasting good. If you're not like me and you don't have an ex-coworker who works there who you're trying to avoid at all costs, I highly recommend that you go. It's definitely a cheers sort of a place. I'm going to be putting it in the cheers category because there were a lot of people when I went that one time. Okay, next up is Philz. Philz is another Bay Area place and is actually more of a Santa Clara County thing because there's only like 5 locations that exist. And I wanted to put it here because I don't like it. This place gives me so much anxiety every time I go in. The menu is so complicated, it activates my non-existent ADHD. There are 4,000 drinks and they all have silly names, and it makes me embarrassed to order from them every single time I go. The coffee's alright, it's not my favorite. I never find myself wanting to go to Philz Coffee. There is a vibe there. It's definitely a cheers sort of a place, but I don't like the taste of their coffee, so I'm going to be putting it in I'd rather have matcha because I would rather have anything else other than Philz Coffee. Next up is McDonald's, and this is another one of my exceptions for places that just so happen to serve coffee, but McDonald's is pretty good, especially if you're on a budget. They're always open, there's McDonald's is everywhere. And if you're on a road trip and you need just a cheap cup of coffee, you could do a lot worse. Wendy's. I'm putting it in better than matcha because I'm obviously not going on a date there and I'm not having a study session in McDonald's. But they actually have pretty decent coffee. I like their fraps and I like their black coffee, so it's pretty good. All right, next up is Verve. Oh boy. This is a very small coffee chain in the Bay Area. Only a few nearby, and the nearest one to me is in Palo Alto. Girl. This is the kind of place where you know the baristas are talking shit about you after you order. Like, we all do it, that's fine, but most of us who are normal put on our customer service face and we BS and give you your drink until you leave, and then we talk shit about you and have our little tea party. But with Verve, they waste no time. They are judging you the moment that you walk into the door. No lie, I told them that my name was Meadow and they called me Metfee. What the fuck? Verve is the popular girl in high school who doesn't even try to act nice, and she gives you major attitude if you ask to sit next to her during class. To be fair, I am a very sassy barista who literally hates it when people ask me to put cinnamon on their drinks. But it's all fair game. I'm judging you, you're judging me. Just don't take it personally. The coffee's okay, I wasn't too impressed by it. There are other places that I'd rather go, but if you're a Stanford University student and you need a place to do a study session, I highly recommend Verve. Because they will give you attitude for free and you don't even have to pay for it. It's definitely sort of a cheers place, so I'm putting it there. Alright, the last coffee place is Fil A. This is another place, like McDonald's, that just so happens to serve coffee, but their coffee is actually pretty good. It's always sweet, even if you're ordering an iced coffee, like they always add sugar. Their black coffee's alright, I would say that it could be worse. Wendy's. I'm putting it in better than matcha because, you know, if you need some lunch and you also want a cup of coffee but you don't want to go to two different places, I highly recommend Fil A. They're actually, coffee's pretty good. Alright, that does it for today's video, guys. I hope that you guys liked it. I had a lot of fun making it. I'm going to be getting back into my regular content soon. I just needed to get something out in the meantime. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe because that would really mean a lot to me. Make sure to leave a comment down below if you agreed with any of the things that I said, or if you hate me and want to tell me how much you love Philz or Dutch Bros. I'll take it. I'm strong. Have a good rest of your day, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!